Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelia's here, with Malik, curators of the Treaty Archive. We left INF Treaty last time with thousands of missiles dismantled and arsenals transformed. The world took a collective breath. Today we pick up where we left off. The world watched as the signatures dried on that historic document. But what exactly had been agreed? Beneath the surface of those grand ceremonies and bold headlines, the terms of the INF Treaty were nothing short of revolutionary. For the first time, two rival superpowers would not just limit their arsenals, but actually destroy an entire category of nuclear weapons. It was a gamble, a calculated risk that could reshape our future. We were witnessing a moment where the impossible became possible.
Revolutionary? Maybe. But we can't overlook the underlying tensions that shaped it all. The INF Treaty came out of fear and desperation, not just goodwill. The stakes were incredibly high. Sure, it aimed to eliminate missiles, but it didn't erase the deep anxieties that led to their creation in the first place. It was a fragile peace, resting on shaky ground, with countless lives caught in the crossfire of this uneasy balance.
At its core, the INF Treaty was both simple in theory and radical in practice. The United States and the Soviet Union agreed to eliminate ground-launched missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. This was not arbitrary. It directly targeted the SS-20 and the Pershing II, weapons that loomed ominously over Europe.
And those weapons weren't just numbers on a page. They represented real fears for millions of families, for mothers worrying about their children's future. The treaty aimed to eliminate an entire class of missiles, but the psychological impact was equally profound. People needed to feel secure. They wanted reassurance that their leaders could negotiate peace. They craved more than just treaties on paper. They wanted a genuine commitment to a safer world for everyone, especially for the vulnerable.
The scale of the disarmament was unprecedented. The Soviet Union committed to eliminating 1,846 missiles, more than twice the number the United States pledged to destroy. This imbalance was no accident. It reflected the stark realities of the arms race, where the Soviets had a greater deployment in Eastern Europe. This disparity shaped the negotiations significantly. It's a reminder of how power dynamics play out on the global stage, influencing every decision made by nations as they navigate their ambitions.
That imbalance raises some really important questions. Was it truly fair to expect the Soviets to dismantle even more? It wasn't just about the numbers on paper. It was about what those numbers meant for real people. The treaty could end up looking like a symbol of Western dominance, rather than a genuine effort to create equality. We have to consider the human cost behind these decisions and how they affect lives on both sides.
The treaty's reach extended far beyond just the missiles. We were looking at the dismantling of associated launchers, the support vehicles, and the entire infrastructure that had been built up over decades. This was an ambitious plan, one that aimed to erase the physical legacy of an entire era of confrontation. It was a bold move, a statement that said we were ready to move on. But in history, as we know, such efforts come with their own complexities and challenges.
But erasing that legacy isn't as simple as it sounds. You can't just fill silos with concrete and expect the memories of fear to disappear overnight. The psychological scars of the Cold War lingered on, affecting countless lives. The treaty was a hopeful step forward, but it couldn't wipe away decades of tension and mistrust in an instant. People still carry those stories, their families shaped by the weight of history. Healing takes time, and we need to acknowledge that journey.
What truly set the INF Treaty apart was its verification regime. Trust had always been elusive in arms control, and this treaty changed the game. It mandated intrusive, reciprocal verification measures that were unprecedented. For the first time, American and Soviet inspectors would actually visit each other's missile bases. They'd physically count warheads and witness the destruction of launchers firsthand. This was a bold step toward transparency, forcing both sides to confront the reality of their arsenals in a way they never had before.
That transparency was groundbreaking, but it also opened the door to new challenges. I mean, could both sides really keep up this level of scrutiny? It's tough to shake off old habits of distrust. Just think about it. The history of espionage hangs over these measures like a dark cloud, threatening to undermine everything. The people involved, their fears and uncertainties, could easily take over. It's a delicate balance, and we can't forget the human cost of all this.
The Special Verification Commission was established to resolve disputes that had long simmered beneath the surface. This initiative brought an unprecedented level of transparency to the superpower relationship. Suddenly, arms control was no longer conducted in the dark, hidden from public scrutiny. With this new openness, we began to see the dawn of a different era in international security, where dialogue replaced secrecy and nations had to reckon with their choices under the watchful eyes of the world.
But dawn came with its own set of risks. Critics on both sides raised serious questions about whether these measures would actually work. Sure, the treaty was celebrated by some, but others saw it as a painful concession. The political climate was raw, shaped by years of public protest and military posturing. People were tired. They just wanted stability, but many felt betrayed, caught between the hope for peace and the fear of losing everything they had fought for.
With thousands of missiles dismantled and arsenals transformed, we took a collective breath. The ink was dry, yet history teaches us that peace is a delicate thing, often resting on a knife's edge. The future remains uncertain. The real test will be whether this treaty can hold up against shifting political winds and the new leadership that may rise. We've seen empires falter when they underestimate the forces of ambition and fear. Only time will tell if we've learned from the past.
That's where we leave it this time. INF Treaty continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Treaty Archive, part of the Archive Network. We will be back with the next chapter.